For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And giversplanet.com, Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is the 27th day of April, 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. So I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. And those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. If you do not know the rules of the road, then please familiarize yourself with them, because if you're on the road and you're interacting with others, traffic, pedestrians, whatever, and you don't know the rules, it's like you being in a forest with no compass, not knowing where to go or not knowing what to do as well. So those of you who may have obtained your driver's license under questionable circumstances, you may want to ensure that you go now and familiarize yourself, because that isn't the only way that you're going to survive on the roads of the Cayman Islands. If you know the proper way to conduct yourself and to operate a vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands as well. Anyone who's celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. And if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday, we would be more than happy on For the Record to mention their names. If you provide us with that information, you can, I'll be providing you with the WhatsApp number in a few minutes, as well. So if you're celebrating a birthday, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you have celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times. And for those of you who have been really severely impacted in the last few days by family tragedies, we want to say to you here at Radio Cayman that the good Lord is not going to give you any more burden than you can bear. So have faith, stay strong. You will be supported by your colleagues, and with that support, hopefully that will help you along the way as well. For those of you who are ill, whether you're at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. I will repeat that, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. I also suggest to you that those numbers that I gave you before, put it on speed dial. Put it on speed dial so that you automatically connect, with us as well. And, of course, you can also follow us on YouTube, and you do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me again this morning Dr. Steve McFeel. And if you notice, sometimes I will give you a historical quote or something that happened on this day in history. We have two for you today because yesterday was a historical date for the world and for one African country in particular. And I'm going to have Dr. Steve McFeel share that historical information with you. And then we will also give you one for today as well. So, Doc, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. For the Record, and good morning to all your listeners in the For the Record land and all your supporters and listeners in the Cayman diaspora and all those otherwise who listen to you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Huh? Yes, on the 26th of April, 1994, you remember, a lot of us, you remember, I know. Mm-hmm. I remember that. A lot of us probably do not remember. It was when South Africa, for the first time, had majority rule, and black people could vote in South Africa to vote the government of their choice. And so this article in the paper, it says South Africa votes, and the date is April 26, 1994. And it says, when South Africans headed to the polls on April 26, 1994, to vote for their next president, the world was watching. For the first time in the country's 84-year history, all South Africans, regardless of race, were allowed to vote. The result was an overwhelming victory for lifelong anti-segregation activist Nelson Mandela, who became the country's first black president and over the next 5 years helped transition South Africa from a nation of exclusion to one of inclusion. And it says, since the passage of the Land Act in 1913, South Africa's black population had been subjected to a system known as apartheid, meaning apartness in Afrikaners. This doctrine effectively cleaved the country in two, as a series of racist legislation banned marriages between races, handed 80% of the land to the white minority population, and severely limited black political power. And in 1944, Mandela, then a young lawyer, began his fight against these prejudicial policies, leading him to be sentenced to prison for life. And finally, in 1990, with the help of the reforming South African president F.W. de Klerk, Mandela was freed. It took another 4 years of negotiations, but the election of 1994 finally marked the end of apartheid. So there we have it. And my favorite quote of the late Nelson Mandela, I always remember that. He says, anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing with is not fit to lead. that was one of his favorite quotes.
And a lot of people fall into that
Yes,
category.
a lot of people fall into that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
A lot of people I know fall into that category.
Yep. So, folks, on this day in history, the 27th of April, 1981, and this reads that the desktop computer and the mouse have long been inextricably linked. But in the 1970s and early 80s, using a computer was a strictly keyboard-only affair. That is until the 27th of April, 1981, when the Xerox Corporation released the Star Information System, which came with a novel accessory with a curious name, the mouse. Unfortunately, very few people use the first mouse because the Star cost a whopping $16,500, which is about $48,000 in today's currency. Luckily, the fledgling computer company Apple took notice and manufactured a much cheaper mouse for its Lisa computer in 1983. When the mouse migrated to the Macintosh a year later, it became the go-to method for navigating the digital world. Although the Star computer was the first machine sold with a mouse, Xerox didn't Xerox didn't invent the accessory. That accolade belongs to engineer Douglas Engelbart, who created the X-Y position indicator for a display system in 1964. From there, the indicator bounced around various labs until it landed at Xerox, along with its familiar rodentine branding based on its shape. Today, touch-based displays and trackpads have largely replaced the mouse, but the small accessory has made a big impact on computer history nonetheless. And folks, I will admit to you, I am still addicted to the mouse as well. I hate the touch screens.
Yes,
when it comes to computer, of course, on a phone you have to use it. But when I am using a desktop, I am still a mouse man myself as well. So, Doc, I'm going to share something out. A couple of other things. We know that this month, and this article was dated the 28th of April, 1966 in the Trade Winds newspaper. And it talks about the fact that the telephone puts Cayman on the world communications map. And it talks about the fact that sooner or later it had to happen. Sooner or later it had to happen. Progress, for better or for worse, is about to catch up with these tranquil islands. Before the year's out, that is 1966, Caymanians will have the 20th century thrust upon them by way of communications. Cayman is the last link in the telephone system which connects the islands from Trinidad to Bermuda with hookups into the U.S. and Canada, referred to as tropospheric scatter system, relay via radio and submarine cable. And I'm sure that I know one of our listeners, if he's listening this early in the morning, will be familiar with that, and I hope to hear something from him in that regard, because he's a former employee at Cable and Wireless. So at that time, it was referred to as a tropospheric scatter system, relay via radio and submarine cable. So this important phase in Caribbean developed is carried out by Cable and Wireless West Indies Limited. Telephone, a commonplace utility in other parts of the world, are welcome news to Caymanians. Traditionally used in intimate personal contact, they're quick to recognize the need for modern expediency in trade and private communications. Businessmen and housewives alike look forward eagerly to having a telephone in their house. And this is a quote from the late Uncle Bill, who just passed away recently. And again, we want to continue to extend condolences to his family as well. But here's what Uncle Bill had to say. He said at that time, "It will be a great help to island commerce." Bill McTaggart of Georgetown expresses the sentiments of the business community. But privately, it will be hell. He chuckled as he contemplates ruefully how wives will be able to keep tabs on their tardy mates. He's quoted as saying, "Having a telephone in the store will make all the difference in the world." That comment was made by someone else. So having a telephone in the store will make all the difference in the world, comments Rose Barden, who manages local Denos and Geddes branch. Now we have to drive around to see our customers, or they have to make a special trip when their stock runs low. Won't it be wonderful to just pick up the phone? So that was Miss Rose Barden talking about that. And one can understand the links. Tradewinds newspaper, I think at that time they were located in the Selkirk building. And Denos and Geddes, that was run by Miss Rose and Son of Boy, was right next door to the north of that as well. So that was a person that they could quickly interview. Okay, folks, I know I've gone a little bit past my commercial break. We're going to take the commercial break. When we return, I'll give you a few more quotes about the introduction of telephone in the Cayman Islands, and then I'm going to share an article with you about two very famous seamstresses in the Cayman Islands. Let's see if you can guess who those two seamstresses were. One lived on Shaden Road, one lived on Smith Road. And at some point in time in 1966, because business was so hot, they decided to combine their business and open a shop on their own. So just a little teaser, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On January the 18th, 1962, the Assembly of the Cayman Islands voted unanimously to continue their present association with Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom. Leading the change for remaining a British Crown colony was Dr. Roy McTaggart, the 9th national hero of the Cayman Islands. Opposed to aligning with Jamaica, Dr. Roy canvassed the Cayman Islands and received more than 3,000 signatures in support of remaining with Britain. MLAs from the sister islands were equally vocal in their support of being tied to Britain in the strongest possible terms, with a signed petition of 79% of the registered voters stating if Grand Cayman chose to remain with an independent Jamaica, the sister islands would seek separate crown colony status under Britain.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. a traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. If I speak a little faster, I normally speak fast anyway, but I'm going to speak even faster this morning to try to cover all of this before we go to the 8 o'clock news. So I was sharing with you the article about telephones being introduced in the Cayman Islands and reading some quotes from some of our stalwart Caymanians, real Caymanians. So we had Uncle Bill, the late Uncle Bill, and we had Miss Rose Borden, Denos and Geddes. And I like the way, Doc, that they have balanced this out in terms of the persons that they interviewed. In these days, in the newspapers, you see on the cover, usually on the cover, if someone has done something and convicted of something or something like that, then you see their photograph on there. Yes. And if they've done something really good, you see the face of the foreigner or the face of the other person who's high up in society, and you don't see much.
Yes.
So, but here, in this article, they created a balance, because here is what another person that they interviewed, and this person says having a telephone also does much to banish the loneliness that for generations has been the lot of countless Caymanian sea wives. So Miss Mavis Williams' husband is away for 2 to 4 years at a time. Life will be so much easier, Miss Mavis is quoted as saying, as she smiled while she busied herself with tidying the sitting room of her modest bungalow on School Road. She's quoted as saying, I will be able to call all my friends. Deep down, Miss Mavis hopes that once in a while her husband will be able to call her long distance to bridge these long gaps of separation. And then there's a quote, this will stimulate traffic tremendously, predicts Peter Forstall, the representative from British parent company who heads the team of Cable and Wireless. He was one of the experts flown in to supervise operations and to train local personnel as well. So, folks, that is one that I have shared with you, and I want to share another one, and hopefully I can find it very quickly to share with you. Yes, here we go. Georgetown Dress Saloon expands, and one of our listeners has written in and said Miss Annis Wood was the one that lived on Smith Road. And folks, the person who lived on Shedden Road was none other than Miss Ina Ebanks, right?
Yes.
So here's the, very quickly, Miss Susan, I hope I can finish this. Very quickly, Georgetown Dress Saloon expands. Zipper broken, hem too long, nothing to wear, fashion-wise, and Georgetowners and many a tourist tote into Annis and Ina's dressmaking on Church Street. Fine workmanship and speedy delivery, a dress in 3 hours, are the trademarks of Annis Wood and Ina Ebanks. Together, they opened their dressmaking shop just 1.5 years ago, and business has been so good that they have had to build an extension. Though this is not quite finished yet, they've had to move in cutting table and ironing board for their fast running out of workspace in their half of the Texaco service station building. And there's a photograph of her long working hours paying off for Ina Ebanks and Annis Wood, proprietors of Church Street Dress Saloon to Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Both business seamstresses are from the Georgetown area, where they have managed to build up a steady clientele for the past 20 and 30 years, respectively. Patterns are out for garments. Here are cut to measure after designs, pictures, or ideas provided together with materials by customers. Trimmings and linings are part of the service, all included in the price of 2 guineas or $6 for a fitted dress slightly less than a shift. And I have to cut off there because we're going to the news. But I just want to say very quickly, and I'll share the rest of this with you. If Miss Ina and Miss Anis were in Europe, they would be they would have been in those days the huge designers. Susan, what are some of the Italian designers? I don't even know their names. The Gucci's and whatever, they would have been in those days, because you see what they talk about here, that you took a picture.
That's right.
To them, and they could design and make it for you.
They could design and make it for you.
Yep.
and they also made uniform for the schools and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Okay, folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. And, of course, we will shift gears at some point in time. And we will talk a little bit of politics as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Foster's is a minute after 8.
This Earth Month, Foster's is sprouting knowledge to help you eat healthily and live sustainably.
Just head to fosters.ky/earth-month to learn about nutrition, the growing process, and curbing your wastage on 5 common fresh products.
Did you know that you can use watermelon rinds in a curry or a smoothie?
Learn more tips and recipes like this on our social channels at Foster's K-Man on Facebook and Instagram.
Go to fosters.ky/earth-month
to sprout knowledge this Earth Month with Foster's.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
We know there's a lot of people around, but no one has provided any information at the minute.
An appeal to the community after the country is rocked by a Georgetown homicide. The attack happened around 8 p.m. on Monday at a business on School Road. When police arrived, they found Harry Elliott laying unresponsive on the floor with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to his head. Mr. Elliott, a retired police officer, was later pronounced dead. RCIPS Commissioner Derek Byrne tells Radio Cayman the suspects, 2 men, were seen running towards McField Square after the shooting. As to motive, it's still early yet. Police are reviewing the CCTV footage and making inquiries. If you have any information, you're encouraged to call the Major Incident Room on 649-2930. The last homicide in Cayman was back in July 2021. In other police news, a man is behind bars today suspected of burglary and drug offenses. At around 3:15 a.m. on April 25th, officers responded to a call of a break-in on Powery Road in West Bay. The suspect was confronted by someone in the building, prompting him to take off on foot after snatching several items. Following investigations, a suspect was tracked down in Georgetown. He took off, dropping a bag, which police found to contain several items from the earlier burglary. Later that day, back in West Bay on Caribbean Lane, police arrested a 42-year-old man fitting the description of the suspect in the break-in. He was arrested on suspicion of burglary in relation to the incident, in addition to drug offenses, and remains in police custody. With hurricane season just over 1 month away, the shelter inspection team has been out performing checks to ensure the emergency shelters can be stood up rapidly in the event they are needed. The annual shelter list is typically updated and issued in May following the PWD shuttering exercise. It's then posted to Hazard Management Cayman Islands website, caymanprepare.ky. Shelters are used by residents who aren't certain if their home can withstand the threats from a storm, which may include life-threatening storm surge. In regional news, Mexico's Supreme Court struck down a 2021 law this week that would have required cell phone companies to collect biometric data like fingerprints or eye scans from customers. The court ruled the law was too invasive of personal liberty in comparison with any positive effect it could have. The court also ruled that there were other measures that could be taken to cut down on crimes involving phones. Cell phones in Mexico are often used in kidnappings and extortion, sometimes by inmates calling from prisons. However, such calls are usually made from stolen, pre-made, or burner phones that the law wouldn't have affected much. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith.
The European Union has described Russia's decision to cut off gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria as unacceptable. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen accused Moscow of blackmail. The Kremlin said it had taken action because both countries refused to pay in the Russian currency, the ruble. Poland has arrested 2 men on suspicion of spying for Moscow. A spokesman said one was a Russian national, the other a Belarusian citizen. The Chinese drone manufacturer DJI says it's suspending sales to Russia and Ukraine to try to stop its products being used in the war. Analysts say the company could be worried sales to Western countries might be hit if it continues doing business with Russia. In other news, a report has warned that a scheme set up to ensure mining in the Democratic Republic of Congo does not fuel conflict is being abused to launder tainted minerals. Global Witness says it's uncovered compelling evidence that the International Tin Supply Chain Initiative is failing. Rights groups say cases of police brutality and enforced disappearances in Kenya have been increasing. Working with Amnesty International, they allege that last year there were nearly 200 extrajudicial killings by Kenyan police. The High Court in London has ruled that the British government acted unlawfully at the start of the coronavirus pandemic by moving patients from hospitals to care homes for the elderly. The court said ministers have failed to take into account the risk of vulnerable residents contracting COVID. Denmark has formally signed a controversial deal with Kosovo to rent up to 300 prison cells for criminals facing deportation. It means some inmates from non-EU countries will be relocated to Kosovo to serve the rest of their sentences. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course, Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 82%. The barometric pressure is 29.96 inches and falling. The wind is out of the winds out of the east at 12 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate an upper level trough will continue to help support isolated showers across the Cayman area over the next 24 hours before gradually weakening. Satellite images show scattered low clouds over the Cayman area moving towards the west. The forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight, calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s today and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots for today and tonight, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Low tide will be this afternoon at 2 o'clock, high tide again tonight at 8:16. The sun will set this evening at 6:45 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:59. And the outlook is calling for moderate east to northeasterly winds and seas expected to prevail across the Cayman area through Friday evening.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? No, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Busy traffic heading to Georgetown on Crew Road, and traffic is busy coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, and busy traffic coming off of Agnes Way off the Linford Pearson Highway. As we look to the Linford Pearson Highway, it is moving along steadily. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing moderately, as well as on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. And on Schoolhouse Road, traffic is moderate. Into Georgetown and Shedden Road, not looking too bad, as traffic flowing at a good pace. Edward Street, light to moderate traffic flow, and light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Busy traffic coming off of Esterly Tibbetts Highway. And continuing on to the Industrial Park area, traffic is steady. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and click it or ticket.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good. Wow. Sensational. Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
For the Health of It is heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. It is brought to you by Holy Cross Health. Quality medical care and advanced technology with sincere compassion and understanding. Our mission is you. Call 1-954-351-5906. Email globalservices@holy-cross.com or visit Holy Cross Health at holy-cross.com.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Raising children is costly. That is why each year the Ministry of Education provides, through its Early Childhood Assistance Program, funding to assist Caymanian children to attend an early childhood center. For early childhood funding assistance, call the Early Childhood Care and Education Unit at 244-3155 or 936-0267, or download an application form from the ministry's website at www.gov.ky/education and email the completed form to ecap@gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have with me in the studio this morning none other than Dr. Steve McFeel. And Doc, one of our... This is a couple actually, but I'm not going to call their names. But they're real dedicated Radio Cayman listeners, and For the Record listeners as well. They share information, with me, articles and stuff like that as well. And they have reminded me that Miss Essie Nixon was also a very good seamstress, as well. And I'm sure that in all of the districts, you would have had persons who were seamstresses, and then there were persons who, because I remember my mother, had a sewing machine as well. I remember they had the old singer sewing machines. First, they had the type that it sat on a stand, and then you had the foot pedal that you use and stuff like that. And then, of course, later on, you started to get the ones on the top and the electric sewing machines and stuff like that. And I remember my mother using the thimble to sew with, to make sure that you don't stick your thumb, with the needle as well. So, yes, Miss, we want to give kudos to Miss Essie Nixon, as well as a seamstress. And maybe one of these days when we're doing our heroes thing again, that we need to recognize, those seamstresses in the Cayman Islands as well, because I'm sure that there are quite a few.
And Miss Minnie Bassey was a seamstress too.
Okay.
She lived down in down north. We call it down north. It was supposed to be up north, down north.
And basically the Copper Boilers area.
Her husband was Mr. A. Bassey, shoemaker. And in those days, he was very, very busy, because in those days, I see people now got a closet with dozens and dozens of shoes. In those days, we only had one pair of shoes, and we had to fix that. He fixed get new soles in it, get new heels, and even get an extension to the main shoe, because sometimes the shoe was three times too small. And you had to put these things in it, push these things in it, and screw it. What's called a stretcher?
Yes,
to stretch the shoes to make it fit your foot.
Well, the other remedy for that was also, because you got shoes when your father brought you shoes from when he came home from sea. He would have, unless he was advised that your foot had gotten bigger and what size you wore. If the size came a little bit too small, but it could fit, and it would hurt your feet. They say that the thing you would either walk in the shoe in the dew, or you put and those days you didn't have to worry because you got genuine leather. There was no synthetic stuff. They would always say you take water and you put inside the shoe, and you put your you wear them. Put them on with water in them, and you wear them like that, and that would stretch the leather. That would stretch the leather as well.
And with more, you say, what kind of shoe? Floor shine. Yes.
So we were also told that over in the Brac, Miss Viola Brown, that she was a seamstress over in Cayman Brac as well. And of course, I have spoken before about the crocheting. I think when we had the National Gallery on here, I spoke to them about that. So many people crocheted in the Cayman Islands, again using patterns and stuff like that, and it was a pride to have in your living room, because those days you would do the crochet and then you would starch it so that the designs would sit up the way that you wanted them to sit up. And then you would take your ornaments and your picture frames and stuff like that and put on it. And those days, especially when men, one of the favorite destinations for seamen was Japan, because you could get beautiful decorations and stuff like that, from Japan as well, and to have those out in your living room, that was a big thing.
And you talk about crochets. A neighbor of ours, I used to wonder to myself, what's that woman doing up by her window all the time? You could see she had a big window and she had this big board there, and I was always wondering, why is she doing all day sometimes up with a lamp? In those days, sometimes we didn't have an electric light, and I discovered when I got older that she was a crocheter, and she used to make bedspreads and pillowcases and sell them in Tampa. Her name was Miss Emma John Lonza.
Okay, yes.
John Lonza Borden. She lived in that house where Heber Arch's office is today.
Okay.
Right there,
yeah.
and he used to be a checker on the docks, working for the customs, and that's what she did. She would crochet all of this, and then I had something called cut crochet or something where you take the cloth and take strands out of it.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yes.
And they used to make mats like that too.
Yes,
floor mats.
And she would send them to Tampa to sell them. That's how they earn money.
Okay.
That's how they earn U.S. dollars. I didn't realize that until later on in life.
Okay. One of our listeners says that Miss Annis was their father's first cousin, and also it says that their grandmother, Miss Ines Ebanks, was also a seamstress in West Bay as well. So we mentioned the Brack and Miss Viola Brown, and I don't want to leave the Brack and the Sister Islands out of the conversation. And in 1966, also, the secondary modern school in Cayman Brack was construction started then, and there's an article in the Tiradwins newspaper by the late Keith Parker Tibbetts Jr., and it speaks about this fact that construction of the new secondary modern school has begun in Cayman Brack, and this is dated the 28th day of April 1966, Tiradwins newspaper, and it speaks to the fact that it shows a photograph showing the wooden boxing for the concrete foundation, which has been fitted, and it says that Mr. Edlin Hurlston was the person who is the contractor for the building project there. And of course, then there are stories in there about people traveling. Mrs. Bertha Lee Lazary, wife of Brinsley Lazary of Northeast Bay, returned on Sunday, the 10th of April, along with baby, which was delivered in Grand Cayman. Mr. Audley Scott of Cotton Tree Bay, Cayman Brack, is back this week from work with National Bulk Carriers, arriving to substitute for Mr. David German, who has gone to Grand Cayman for medical aid after receiving a broken wrist while cranking a Land Rover, was Mr. Edgar Wood. Mr. German works for Barclays Bank in Cayman Brack, and of course Mr. Edgar Wood was a long serving member of there as well. So lots of news from Cayman Brack as well. But we do have callers, so let's go to the phone lines. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, my dear.
Morning.
How are you?
Good morning. My favorite type of show.
Okay.
I got one question to ask Dr. Matfield, because I'm not understanding something in the little pink building on the waterfront by Mrs. O'Brien area. Did Nana actually sew in that? The little pink boardhouse on the Iron Shore by Mrs. O'Brien's shop on the south side.
Maybe that was where they, because they say that they were on South Church Street, so I wonder if that was where the store was. Was that where it is? You say?
I know no. I thought that they were down there. I don't know. That's a question.
Okay.
They could have been. You remember in 1966, I was away When all of this started, I was away. I had gone away from 1963.
Okay.
I was in Canada at the time.
Okay.
But I remember reading the newspapers every week, the weekend newspapers. But I remember Miss Ina. She started to shop up on Shaden Road. She started a dressmaking shop with her sister Miss Madeline up on Shaden Road, and I remember that because you had to decide which one of them could have gotten your school uniform for the new year. Because every year your parents gave you a couple of new school uniforms, and they were the ones who were making them. And they also were making the uniform for the police and all those things too. So they were quite busy. They were quite busy, and so you had to take your uniform to Miss Ina, and then if she said I'm too busy, you run to Miss Essie to see if she could get it done, and then if Miss Essie say I'm busy, then you run down to Miss Aid Bass's to get it done, and then you cross your fingers that when school opens in January, you're going to have new school uniforms to wear, because that was a big thing in those days to have new school uniforms to wear.
Well, that topic has generated lots of conversation, and people are sending me in some more names as well, and I will be sharing them along the way in terms of those seamstresses as well.
But caller, there was one theme that runs through all of the information that already is given. One theme, you know what you know what that theme is?
We can do anything.
We can do anything.
Yes.
And all Caymanians, we did it all ourselves. We had skin in the game. We had dog in the fight, and we didn't have to depend on other people coming telling us what to do and doing things for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Could I read what I had written then, since you took me that way?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Worship?
Yes.
Going back to Smith Road, it was YY. That's Miss Violet McLean and Miss Annis Wood.
Mm-hmm.
They were yard and yard, each on the other side of the street.
Opposite each other, yeah.
To me, YY did more school uniforms and stuff than Miss Annis did. But they also did, YY also did her high fashion. And I want to talk about capabilities right now. When you go to a dressmaker or a tailor nowadays, you gotta be a certain size or they can't fit you, and blah 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 blah. I remember the likes and the ilk, because I was in those sewing rooms. I can tell that the Sears and Roebuck, the Montgomery Ward, the J.C. Penney, and what other one was? You remember?
National Bellas.
They were scattered on the floor with little pieces of paper and notes, and they would take your measurement. But these ladies, I'm a little young to have gotten into Nana's sewing room, but I know it was there. Her and Taylor Joe right there working side by side. But these ladies you carry that style book, as they call it, and you give that to them, they sort you out, you take your measurement, and you also bring in an item of clothing to them, because they're going to put that down on the cutting board now. They're going to cut your style from that item of clothing, even though they have taken your measurements. And then you got to come for your fitting as well. I can tell anybody that Miss Annis Wood and Miss Violet McLean, you can't get a frock unless now I guess you get it from Italy or France that was any neater in construction, and I don't think it would be better. It would maybe you would say as good as, but it couldn't be better. And nowadays, when you take your things to these people licensed about the place and operating, God bless. It's a hit and miss as to what you get back. But we had our own, and Miss Esther was just round the corner from you, Mr. O.C., right down around the corner. And there's a name, if you're getting now, off on Mayor Street. I believe she operated on Mayor Street. Amo.
Yeah. Yes. Amo was, she was Miss Ina's sister?
Yes, she was her sister.
Yes.
I just want to remind you.
Okay.
Bring it back around.
Yeah, we're going to be calling some more names here. Right? I got a list of them that they're sending in to me now as well.
But ma'am, they also made suits for men.
Yeah.
They also made suits for men.
Wedding dresses? Who made the wedding dresses?
Yes.
And my mother, with a hand machine, I know she made too. That wasn't her forte. She would more mend and make uniforms and do alterations. But my mother used to make, I mean, when there was no fancy, nothing, you know, with pearls and dingle-dangles, but nice wedding dresses. And she used to make, what she used to do a lot of was to make the veil.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have a proud history in dressmaking, and it really kind of like, it really makes me sad sometimes when we walk into establishments of that ilk. Now we came out, and you're number one ignored or hustled through like you don't know anything, because we do. So this subject this morning, I appreciate from persons who were there, who would know, who have the life history and the neighborhood. And remember, Nana and Amo, they wasn't up in no fifth-story building. They were down on the street corner. Amo sewing Nana sewing all night.
Right out of their house. Yeah.
And when you go in the morning to get your bacon to make your eggs by Miss Leola, Nana was still up, and sometimes the light was still on. She wouldn't even turn it off.
Yep.
So you know she was up all night sewing. And I so thank you as a Georgetown, you know, my special spot is for this topic this morning.
Okay.
And also something
very quickly, got to go to a break. Go ahead.
Okay. The Miss Mavis Williams, when the newspaper, and I guess it must be the Trade Winds, talked about a simple bungalow. But from the late 1950s, I know Miss Mavis' house, and I was Eastern Avenue last night. And that's a wonderful concrete constructed house.
Exactly. Bungalows got, a lot of those got swept away or blown away when hurricanes came. Miss Mavis's house on what is now Eastern Avenue has survived, man, and that was a concrete house. And of course
and still, the landscape looks the same. I mean, it was dust, and I wasn't really looking, but the landscape looks the same. So I think Miss Mavis's house is still there.
Yeah, it is there. It is there. Yeah.
The 50s and 60s. So you know, the tears down things overnight.
And her husband was Dennis Williams. His name was
that was
Dennis.
Quite a modern home, and it's still.
Yep, gotta go. Commercial break. And folks, don't forget this name. We will talk a little bit about this. O.B. Webb. Who knows about him? Tell us about him when we return. We do have a caller, so folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacist will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. That story about Miss Annis Wood and Miss Ina Ebanks has generated so much conversation. We're going to stay on top of that as long as we have to because I keep getting lots of messages from persons reminding us of various persons. Now, what we're trying to do, there are some that we haven't mentioned yet because we're working our way down. We're starting with Miss Ina, and those are the ones I'm familiar with. I don't even know, even going back further. I was born in 1951, and I'm not sure about those going even further back. But one listener has written in and said before their sister, Edith Seymour, and I know who has written this, went off to the States, that she used to sew for people as well. And she also mentions the fact that Miss Jemima, who used to live near Mr. Everard's, Mr. Everard down in there that you talk about, the sophisticated people, the Seymours.
Sophisticated colored people.
Yes. Was down also a seamstress.
Pasador Place, used to call it.
And of course, Miss Jemima, her little shop was right next to the name that I called earlier, O.B. Webb, and tailors and stuff like that as well. But we do have callers on hold, so let's go to the phone lines. 2 callers, so let's take the first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. Good morning, Mr. Maxfield.
Good morning. How are you?
I didn't get to listen to all your shows, so I don't know all the names that were called, but I just wanted to say that Mrs. Beverly Hyde, better known as Cuckoo, from West Bay, Boson Bay. She was an excellent seamstress. She made maiden dresses, some of the most beautiful ones, and anything that you needed, Aunt Cuckoo was there to help you with it. All hours of the night staying up to get her jobs completed, and it was excellent work. So that's all I wanted to say this morning.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us as well. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
O.C.?
Yep, go right ahead.
You had Miss Nadia Smith.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yes. She used to live on Mayor Street, and she went to school and on Rock Hole. She went back to Rock Hole.
And she was also family to Miss Ina.
Yeah. So, peace for today.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And one of our other listeners said, great show. What about Miss K's Fabrics? Person says that they remember her in the 70s as well. And do I have any more here at this point? Oh, this listener said that their mother came all the way from West Bay to get her dress making done by Miss Ina and Miss Annis as well. Miss Susan, you had, were there some other names that we had? Well, Doc, you said you had Murtis Powery of Boson Bay, West Bay, was also a seamstress. We made to know as well, and they had also mentioned Beverly Hyde, which the caller, who the caller also mentioned just now as well. But Doc, you had a story about O.B. Webb and Taylor.
Yeah,
that he was a stately, tall,
yes,
very had a commanding
yes,
stature.
Yes,
Obi Webb.
Yes,
highly respected in the community.
And he had an established tailor shop.
Yes,
on Shaden Road.
Yes,
and he also had a steam pressing business too on Shaden Road. I worked there on Saturdays. I did a lot of pressing for all of the big wigs, the Marion, Duke and Marion, and all of those people. I pressed their suits and their pants and stuff like that. I knew a lot. That's why my clothes are always pressed. I learned how to use the coal iron first, and then the steam presser. I used to work there, make 2 shillings for working on Saturday to do the pressing, and I remember he made the first jacket for me, my Elvis Presley jacket. It was two-tone with the belt, the belt around it, and you tied it in the front. And I thought that I was hot. And I went up to Bodden Town to a garden party, one of my first garden parties up in Bodden Town, and I went to pull this lady out to dance. And her boyfriend came and said, "She ain't dancing, man. She ain't dancing." And I said, "She dancing with me tonight." That time the ballroom was the town hall, the floor wax, the floors wax, and the gas lantern in the building. You could sort of dim inside, and she looked so beautiful. And I pulled her out to dance, and after I took off my felt hat, and this man had long arms all the way down to his knees, and all I saw was his big fist coming towards my forehead. And I couldn't stop it. Boom! And I dropped on the floor. And the fight started with George Downers against Bodden Towners. Mr. Webb was in it. Arthur Martin was there. Bernice Berry. And Arthur Martin said, "Who's it? Webb is in it? My friend Webb?" So he went to pull off his jacket. And Bernice hit him right under the sleeves of the jacket. And he went right over the bonnet of Webb's car. He got knocked out and stuff. and Master Webb, when I look, I was crawling on the floor to try to get out the building, and I was trying to get him to say, "Sit down, son, sit down, sit down." And they were beating me and kicking me, and they were trying to drive Master Webb through the window, and he was trying to stop him from driving through the window with his foot against the wall, and it was a real fiasco. And I had to go to the hospital the next day. My lumps in my head, all my face was lumped up. My mother was in it. Hit someone with a Coke, with a big Coke bottle, and then the next day, that was New Year's Day, the 2nd of January. Then they were down. They went to Miss Lindora's house. All the men from the island came there because her brother, Mr. Del Borden, was there. Had a table in the yard where they were recruiting men to go to sea.
Oh, okay.
And the men was coming down by my mother place. Some of the men from up to windward, Bodden Town and stuff, would ride bicycles. Those days left their bicycles at my mother's house and would walk down the street there. And so my mother would say, "Well, I didn't understand what the fight was the other night up in Bodden Town."
Because you're all friends to do
that. And she said, what happened? Why you were beating my boy? She said, "Miss Mabel, he was rude to that woman, to that girl, that young girl. He pulled her out to dance." And my mom would say, "I should have been beating him until now."
Okay, let's see if we can grab a caller before we go to a break. But we have several callers on hold, and this one has been holding for quite a while. So, caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Macfield.
How are you doing, sir? How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yes.
I just remembered one of the same sisters that used to sew for us. She was a Wood from Bodden Town. She might have been Mr. Allwood's mother or Edgar Wood's their mother, I'm not sure. But she used to operate Mr. Carroll Henderson's property, in fact, their house, where afterward became the Catholic Church property that turned into Elizabethan Square.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't today that happened. When I was for a young boy, me and my brother used to make suits alike for us, well, pants and shirts.
Mm-hmm.
the khaki material that's used to use for that, for uniforms, could stand up those short pants. You could stand them up, they were so heavy and stiff.
yes.
But anyway, I remember her doing her shirts and pants for us, like me and my brother. We always had her doing, or she did a lot of clothes in the early times, and matching. Each of us matching. One was a little bit bigger than the other, and that was about the only difference. So I would say she was one of the pioneers in Georgetown with sewing.
Okay.
As a seamstress there.
But you don't remember her name?
I can't remember her name for sure, but she was a wood from Bordentown.
Hopefully someone will provide us with that information.
Was either related to Miss Annis or Mr. Earlwood. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, well, Miss Annis was married to Mr. Earlwood, right?
Mr. Earlwood's wife.
No, yes.
Yes.
But I'm not sure it was. I think they were related. I'm not sure which one. But I know she was from Bordentown, but that's where she used to work. She used to sew right there in that old house.
Okay.
I remember that, yes. And the old house was right out on the edge of where the little zinc road began.
Right. Very close to where the police property is there now.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, thank you very much for that. We're going to go to a commercial break. We still have 3 callers on hold, but we're going to accommodate everyone, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Bordentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Are you a Caymanian status holder, or a resident of the Cayman Islands who is interested in enhancing transparency, accountability, ethical standards, and promoting awareness in public bodies? If you are civic-minded with the highest level of integrity, the Commission's Secretariat, on behalf of His Excellency the Governor, welcomes your expression of interest for appointment to the various statutory commissions. For more information on the commissions and candidate qualifications, visit the Commission's Secretariat website at www.commissionssecretariat.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the topic of seamstresses in the Cayman Islands. And if you know any tailors as well, we mentioned Obi Webb early as well. If you know others, let us know. Let's go back to the phone lines. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
So for the Taylors, I think it was one man used to call Joe Taylor. He used to live down in
Taylor Joe, yes, Taylor Joe,
Taylor
yes.
Joe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Stella, Ina's daughter, she's a very good seamstress too.
Okay, so...
And Miss Eldine Arch, Boosters and Carlan's mother.
Okay.
She's an excellent seamstress. Valna McLaughlin, who was married to Singer. Val McLaughlin, East End. And Ade, her sister-in-law.
Ade, yes, okay.
Yeah, she was very good seamstress too. And Vera, who was married to Willis, the brother. She was from West Bay. She lives in the U.S. now. She's a very good seamstress as well.
So did we...
And also Miss Laurel Watler from Bordentown, Harding Watler's mother.
Okay.
She's an excellent seamstress.
So was this...
I think Carmen from East End.
Miss Carmen? Yes. So was it passed down from generation to generation where the daughters learned from their mothers?
It could be, possibly.
Because I was just going to ask you who taught them the trade? Who taught them that trade?
They were all self-taught, as far as I know. Well, they used to teach sewing in school when we went to school, but I don't know if they teach it anymore.
They used to teach sewing in school?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to teach sewing in school.
Home economics, they used to call it. Home
economics, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I was glad that some lady called in and remembered Beverly Hyde from West Bay. Cuckoo, we used to call her. She was an excellent seamstress too. Okay. Yeah, and I'm sure there are probably a few more too that we don't remember, but came on had a lot of seamstresses, but we don't seem to have any these days.
and you
far in between.
You remember where they got the materials from? The materials mostly came from Marion's and Wilco. They would import all of the cloth and have it up on their shelves, and you could go there and you could see the different colors and kinds of cloth and quality of cloth that they would. I mean, what do you call it? The dry goods store. Dry goods store.
Yeah. They had very good material, better than we get now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, y'all have a nice day.
Thank you very much. And very quickly before we go to the next call, I just want to mention that in that Trade Winds newspaper of 1966, also there's a story in there about Marin Brand store in Savannah catching fire and burning completely down in 1966. Mr. Champy was the manager. He ran that store up there for them as well. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Figure this would stimulate your interest too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it sure did. Speaking about the same. Oh, by the way, good morning, Dr. Mark.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Speaking about the seamstress, the woman, actually, she was a cousin of mine from my mother's side, and she was a cousin of mine from my father's side. And her name was Anis. Her first husband, she became a Bush, and her last husband, she was by the name of Duffer. So,
oh yes, Sana Duffer, yeah.
Right, I just say that because this seamstress, Anis, they used to call her Anan, or we used to call her Anan. I don't know about other people, but we call her Anan. And she made the wedding dress for my wife.
Okay.
So she was quite up there with making clothes, especially women's clothes, But going back, in history, it's good to reminisce about where it came on, or especially Georgetown and West Bay, where it came from. Even though we had outer districts or East End and Bordentown and like that, but most people in those days came to town for something, brought them to town. And, Georgetown might be a real bustling little town or city or whatever they want to call it now. But I remember so many people were so eager to help people in those days. I mean, I know we used to have to get our uniforms made from different women, because one person couldn't handle all of them.
Yeah.
And I never forget when I was sort of given the job at being the messenger in Barclays Bank in 1966, September. Matter of fact, I think it was through you that I learned about that job. And when I went there, the assistant manager told me that they would be providing a bicycle, shoes, and 3 pants and 6 shirts from a uniform. I said, wow. You know, getting all of these clothes, I mean, you know, like, all I got to wear them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted to go to sea after, well, a lot of my buddies were going off to sea, and I was, every day, anything Miss Grant needed to be done or sent somewhere, mostly the wireless station, to send messages, and I was always wanting to find out when I going to get to go, you know. And I believe something went on between my old lady and Miss Grant, because at that time, somebody had got blown up on some ship or something.
Okay, yeah.
Women weren't too anxious to send their sons off to sea, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I were interested.
I think that was a boat called a Petrolora, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And you know, after a while, I tell you the truth, I just kept on going from one job that I would call in ships, the SS Barclays, or the old, you know, it was.
You have to use your imagination.
It was, yes, it was very interesting to know. And sometime when my friends and things came back from sea, they would always try to find me to keep them updated on different things in town, you know. I wasn't just a messenger for Barclays. I was a messenger to a lot of people that went away and come back. And I think that was sort of interested me in running taxi, because, you know, half of the time that anybody had sort of got me to Calvary, they would always have to put in a couple of gallons of gas, you know.
All right, we're going to try to grab one more caller before we go to our headline news. Thank you very much for that, and I know you're going to continue to listen to us as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Do you know a lot of people on Mayor Street was seamstress? Do you know the whole sisters of E-Banks was on Mayor Street? They were all seamstress. Miss Anna, Miss Wina, every one of them sisters was a seamstress. And do you know Marfield, our cousin, was a seamstress too? Peter Marfield's sister was a good seamstress. And do you know Miss
Marjorie?
Yeah, Miss Ethel Westby is 104. She was a good seamstress. She used to come to our town and sew for people.
Okay.
Way back in the 50s. Way back.
Wow.
I can remember that, yeah. Way back in the 50s, she used to come to our town and sew for people, because she made dresses to me when I was little. My mother got her make a dress to me when I was little.
Okay.
And she's 104 now.
Wow.
Miss Ethel, Miss Boris' sister. Yeah. All those people are seamstress. The whole Caymanian, all that people could sew.
Yeah.
And one of them could sew. Sew and cooking, what they eat. Sew and cooking.
Sewing and cooking, yeah.
They could go to the store and cook anything that you asked to cook. They could cook. Anything.
Yep. Okay.
So has anybody actually written a Caymanian cookbook, a truly Caymanian cookbook?
I don't think so.
I think that there are a few.
I think that the people in East End, Miss Chloe had made one. And who else had made them? Someone else had made another one, but I can't remember which now. But a lot of Caymanians, all the older Caymanians could cook.
Yeah. I remember Miss Marvel's funeral. They had the corn, custard cornbread. The menu on the back of her, on the program, they had that on there. That was really nice.
My sister-in-law, Miss Adonia Barnes, she makes a good cassava cake. From Miss Phyllis, her mother.
Yeah.
A good custard top cornbread.
Okay.
All those people could cook. And her sister with that, Orly, she used to cook a good custard top cornbread too.
Well, I remember when I was young and the hotel business started at Seaview and Bayview and Pageant Beach and Galleon. Most of the cooks were Caymanian women. The chefs that were Caymanian women cooking all the foods.
Yep.
Because a lot of the men were away.
Yeah.
So, and today, they're thrown to the side. They're discarded, and now we're depending on other people from 135 different other countries to come to do the work for us now.
Yes. Well, we want to thank that caller, for that additional information as well. Top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. Keep those calls coming in. We are looking to shift gears, but if we continue, I have a few WhatsApp messages as well to share with you in relation to this. When we return, we still have a caller on hold, and I will share some of these WhatsApp messages with you as well. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reports 152 cases of COVID-19 on Sunday and Monday, with an estimated 970 active cases in the Cayman Islands. 6 people are currently hospitalized. The 7-day rolling average for Wednesday was 74. Russian energy giant Gazprom says it has cut gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria over their refusal to pay in rubles. Both Ukraine and the European Union say Russia is using energy to try and blackmail countries supporting Ukraine. Bulgaria accuses Gazprom of breaching its contract, while Poland says it can manage the situation. The EU is holding emergency gas talks to decide how to respond, but says it has contingency plans in place. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has meanwhile accused Russian special services of carrying out attacks in a breakaway region of Moldova. Russia's ground invasion of Ukraine is slowly making progress, and multiple explosions have been heard in the Russian city of Belgorod, about 40 kilometers north of the Ukrainian border, with an ammunition depot on fire. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. One of our listeners has shared with us the fact that the lady that Mr. Tommy was speaking about, her name was Ethelwood.
Okay.
It was Ethelwood as well. So let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm proxied in. One of your family members too said that we forgetting somebody very important.
Okay.
Miss Funa.
Oh, yes, Miss Funa. Yes.
And I want you, gentlemen, to stare me straight. Not so sure about this because I was a little girl and, Miss Funa didn't used to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't Miss Funa disabled, physically disabled?
Yes, she's crippled.
Situation?
Yeah, she's crippled.
And I bring that up to say, we as Caymanians back in the day had enough sense to take care of our own. I know Miss Funa was never out of work. You didn't see, even when you passed across that yard, because that was a walking track.
Mm-hmm.
You could see her silhouette, and you could sometimes hear her voice, which was very seldom too. But you knew you could hear that machine going.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that in today's world she would have needed any assistance financially from our ministry of whatever that is, take care of poor people, because she had a business trade. She had a business trade that was top of the line.
Well, she was able to build a house and stuff up in Prospect.
I remember that now that you mentioned it, yeah. And what I'm saying is, to a great extent, back in the day, the people resident in Cayman were Caymanians, but we had enough sense to look out for our own. And Miss Funa didn't have any less work than anybody else. She had work, because I can remember the mothers and aunties and we got this one down by Miss Funa's, because she does this one this kind of whatever good. We kept our own in business.
Patronize them, yes.
Yes, we did. Well, we didn't have anybody else much unless it was Mr. Webb they were talking about. And I mean, the second day after he came here, he was Caymanian just like me and you. That's why they don't understand how to be a Caymanian. You be a Caymanian by being a Caymanian.
Yes, being part of us.
You would have to really say that, like you said, Mr. O.B. Webb wasn't from Cayman because you really didn't know.
And caller, the theme that runs through all this too is that similar to what Lord Graham said. We came from a place where we were independent of other peoples mostly, because we produced most of the things ourselves, and we exported stuff. And here now today in this modern world, we are now dependent on other people, and we import everything from other people.
That's the price we pay for development.
And Dr. Maxfield, thank you very much for mentioning our cobbler. I was so thrilled when I found out the definition for our cobbler by reading some, classic, story.
Yes.
And knowing that we had somebody right round the corner, because you went Captain Tom's every day, and sometime when you're passing on the road, you could actually smell the scent of the leather. And the
yes,
glue.
yes. They used to make their own shoes. But
cobbler.
There was an old, the tannery. It was up on the Sound Road where near where CUC is now.
Yeah.
Where
I
instead of
heard about it, but I never got to go see it, because they wouldn't make you go far.
Yeah, well, instead of dumping the hides, now when they kill the cattle, they would tan them right there, and the surplus that they couldn't use here, they would send off to Jamaica to sell it, the leather. And all the shoes are made of the leather, and there were a couple of shoemakers in Cayman in those days, and you could go. They had the different models, and then you go there and they mark out your feet, and then you come back like 3 or 4 weeks afterwards, and they have your shoes for you. Right. And then when the seamen went away and came back, they then start bringing shoes from America. And everybody prized, everybody prized them, the Florsheim shoes and stuff and things like that.
Do you remember? Do you remember the stretching process for at home?
Yes,
we spoke about that earlier.
Yes.
You wet the beans and put them in the shoe.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But anyhow, we're going. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie. Good morning, Doc.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Boy, enjoying the show. Enjoying the show.
Thank you.
When you touch Mike Horman, it said food, Minister Turner's grandmother was a great cook. And her sisters, oh my goodness, some of the best rice and beans that I've had and macaroni and cheese was from Minister Turner's grand aunt in Kimmerbrook.
Okay.
And if you wanted a good custard top cornbread, or other grand aunt Miss Sue Terry, oh my goodness. My mouth is watering right now. Trust me, they could cook. And out at Miss Zenobia's, which is her grandmother, you go there at Christmas, the beef, oh my word.
And then you had the gnips to go with it too, the gnip tree right there.
So you're talking about Christmas. Just let me ask you a question. I haven't seen it for years now. What about the Wongra? They made at Christmas time the Wongra candies.
To be honest, Doc, I can't even spell that anymore.
Yes.
Someone they used to get it. Someone used to grow it here. The last time I actually got it, I found we were in a little town in Cuba, and we were able to get the Wongla candies that they make. Of course, they I think it's almost similar. The sesame
it's always similar to sesame seeds.
Yes.
And what about the wheat that we used to grow? They would beat the wheat and make wheat porridge and stuff and pound it. And then they used to and the wheat and the corn. Remember, when you go to people's houses, they would have the corns hang up in the kitchen to dry, and they would be there for some years. You could plant them, and then they would grate them and pound them to make porridge or cake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
boy. Take care.
Thank you very much, for that call as well. Before we grab the caller, since we're on the subject of food, someone has written in and said that several years ago, the Rotary Club Central and the Junior Achievement Program produced and published a Cayman cookbook as a fundraiser. The book may still be available, and this also said that Rotarian Carl Brown may know more about that book as well. I'm not sure. I know Mr. Carl Brown, is also a dedicated listener. If he's listening this morning, maybe he can share some information with us, as well. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. I couldn't let this this conversation on seamstress go by without mentioning Ivy Powell, who used to sew a lot of men's clothes.
Okay.
And she used to deal with this. I think they used to call it 17 pound denim that stood up by itself. And to see her. So I went to school with her sister, and to see her wrestling that blue denim, they call it, making pants for school children and men also. So, and the food came in there somewhere, and don't forget the bulrush porridge.
Oh yes, and don't forget the bulrush porridge, and there was also another porridge that they used to use called arroot porridge.
Arroot, yes.
Arroot, yes.
Yes, yes.
And just a little bit of history here. Arroot was one of the first industries in what's now the Miami-Dade County area. And there was a big plantation, hundreds of acres out there in what's now North Miami, nothing but arroot.
And something that I don't see anymore now even in the stores where they sell food, the great and the beautiful cornmeal porridge in the morning. The hard, they could make the porridge soft or hard. Hard cornmeal porridge. Because we ate a lot of cornmeal when we was young.
Oh yeah, the hard one you could cut.
Yes.
Good program.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Speak of the man.
Absolutely wonderful. Yes, Rotary Central, in association with Junior Achievement, did produce a cookbook. It was a Cayman-centered recipe cookbook, and it was very inclusive of historical recipes in the Cayman Islands. I'm not sure of availability, but I think there are quite a few left somewhere. And it'd be good to make inquiries. And we will start to do our own research within our club to see about availability, because it is all relevant. I'd like to mention Chrissy Bush, who is my wife's grandma. She was a Chrissy Wood. She was Chrissy Bush Nee Wood, and she was married to Hugh James Bush, who was from Georgetown. She started to sew back in the 1920s, late 20s, and sewed up until the 70s.
Okay.
And then there was Miss Addie Wood, also from Bodden Town. So, yes, Mr. Bodden really raised a very good one there when he spoke regarding some woods from Bodden Town who were seamstresses. And their work was remarkable. While I'm a newcomer, and I have steeped myself in the history of Cayman, and I was totally fascinated with the old cobblers, as referred to by a caller, because my father's heritage as a young man, I learned cobbling from him as a part of the tradition of handing down to youngsters the things that you did by hand. Even if you were scholastically inclined, you were required to acquire one of the skills of tailoring, or anything manual was part of who you were.
Yeah.
So And the Cayman Islands is a remarkable place when it comes to the self-sufficiency that Dr. McField referred to in terms of being able to manage and recycle what you had, making it very fashionable in spite of repurposing, and making sure that nothing went to waste.
Yes.
That included material. The women's were so remarkable at their handwork, and this is needle and thread and thimble.
Yep.
Thank you very, very much. We cannot value enough what For the Record is doing to our Caymanian cultural society. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, as well. Time for us to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. The conversation will continue as soon as we return from this commercial break.
JN Money. Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank? Yeah. Pay your bills quick? Yeah. Low fees, you know what it? Yeah. JN Money, we are pick? Yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank? Yeah. Pay your bills quick? Yeah. Low fees, you know what it? Yeah. JN Money, we are pick? Yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We have two callers on hold. Before we go to the callers, I just want to say that I hope and I trust that someone from the Ministry of Culture is either listening in, or if not, you go back to YouTube and you replay this show today, because this hopefully will give you some ideas and some impetus as far as our history and our culture is concerned, because, folks, we are losing it. Instead of those persons coming to the Cayman Islands and being assimilated into our society, in our culture, we are assimilating into theirs, and we are losing our heritage, we are losing our culture. So we'd better record it, and we're getting it from the proverbial horse's mouth, from the people who are either related to or in some way know a lot of these historical icons in the Cayman Islands. So I hope and I trust that you are listening and that you will take this in hand and do something about it. One of our listeners wrote in and said, while some stay-at-home mothers did not sew commercially, some like this person's mother made some of their clothes. Person says he doesn't ever remember her ever having to purchase school uniforms, not having to buy them at all. And another of our listeners has written in and said, says, good topic this morning. Miss S's mother, Beatrice Parchment, was a #1 seamstress / tailor. She used to make uniforms for the police and the Home Guard. Ministry of Culture, hope you're listening in. The Home Guard as well. Sew dresses for women. Miss Essa learned from her and perfected her trade. She sewed clothes and wedding dresses and baby clothes. Miss Essa could just look at you and sometimes without measurements and design and make your dress to fit. She made wedding dresses for women from East End to West Bay, including this writer, and I won't tell you who she is, but this writer knows what she's talking about. Hers 50 years ago. Says sometimes she was sequestered by Mr. Albert Berdepadan at their house to make dresses for his wife, Miss Anzie, who I guess was her first lady at that time, Miss Anzie.
Very interesting.
Yes,
very
yes,
interesting. Very interesting that
we're
people
getting
are thinking
so much history today.
And one reason why I would give up my office and go to work for the government, if they would give me something cultural to do.
Yeah.
Because, I would like to see a cultural day in Cayman, a complete cultural day to the Cayman craft for what Caymanians can do to display Cayman's culture. I'm not talking about what the hotels do and the restaurants do here. About what they call it again? They have this thing once a year where they go and taste the food and all that stuff.
Taste of Cayman?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a cultural day. I remember in the early 2000s, it might have been 2003 or 2004, when they had what they call a international day when at Pageant Beach. You remember that? When all of the cultural scheme, they had tents and everybody came and display what they could do and their clothes, they would dress like their national costumes and things like this and whatnot. We need to showcase our culture. We need to have that because it's although we say it's the dominant culture, it's not dominant in fact. It's only dominant in our minds. It's not a dominant culture.
Yep. Okay. Let's grab. We have two callers on hold, Miss Susan. Let's grab the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC and Steve.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, my friend?
Good. We used to get our uniforms made by Miss Irene Stewart.
Irene Stewart, okay.
That was Mr. Harold Stewart's sister in Bordentown.
Okay.
Another piece of information I want to give you is when Mr. O.B. Webb came here first, he went to the savings bank to cash his check when he's coming to get established in Cayman. And they couldn't cash it because it was a large check and they thought it might have been fraud. So they had to send to Jamaica, and Jamaica advised them that Mr. Webb had sold his business and it was a legitimate check and must go ahead and cash it.
Wow.
And right across from Mr. O.B. Webb's store was a little lady there that had a little store. Honorable Chris Saunders' grandmother, Mrs. Daisy Bowles. I don't know if you remember her.
Yes.
Yes.
She made the first paid telephone calls to New York. She was the one that made the first telephone call when the telephone exchange was opened up in 1966.
66, yeah.
And Charlie, Mr. Watler, when the telephone when the telephone company was open, operational, most of the employees were all Cayman trained people, like Ebrard Leacock and all of those people, and
Green.
And you were instrumental there because you were a supervisor.
My budget, my training budget. I was the accountant, and then I got promoted to manager. My training budget in the 60s and 70s was $350,000. And that time it was pounds, 350,000 pounds. And we would send people on courses to Barbados, and then we sent them to courses in UK to get an engineering qualifications. And some of them didn't have any O levels in science and math. So I got that little teacher. He's still doing it now. He used to teach at Triple C. I can't remember his name, from Jamaica. And I had a course.
Mr. Anderson?
He taught. Pardon?
Not Anderson?
I think it is Anderson.
Yes.
And he taught the staff, and when they got the O levels, then they went on to the UK to take the engineering course in Port Cornell. And we trained up all of those staff, and they eventually took over from the English engineers.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Some of those people like Reggie Nixon.
We had a big budget, you know.
Yeah. Because the focus then was training Caymanians, because at that point in time, we were looking out for the Caymanians. We were not looking to import people at that point in time. We were using what we have, doing with what we had. And that was good.
And I would like to say right now, one of our students at Port Cornell in England, he scored the highest grade in his engineering exam of all the other students that had it from Barbados, Hong Kong, Singapore, England, and he scored the highest score on his exams, a Caymanian. I don't know whether I should call his name or not, but I know his name.
Sure. I think we should call. Yeah, we got to big him up. Cornoians, yes. Well, this morning I was referred to when I was talking about cable and wireless and everything, and I say one of our, real dedicated listeners. I'm sure he's out there. That was the person I was referring to, but I'm glad that you mentioned him, as well, Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie, I want to thank you very much for that. We're going to try to grab one more caller before we go to our commercial break. But again, thank you very much for your contribution. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Goosey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Talking a little bit about culture today. I remember Miss Jackson. She used to live in Barker in Ross House in the waterfront there. She used to make our uniforms for us as well.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you remember Miss Jackson.
She used to live right behind Albert Smith Bar. Yes. And behind the town hall, between Albert Smith Bar and the town hall there, and there's a little track to get to their house. You could go from the waterfront, or you could go from the town hall yard.
Yep, I think her son was named Adalbert.
Adalbert, and he had a sister named Gile, and I can't remember the other's name. Yes, yes.
That was good history. And the part that, real quick, gentlemen, I guess, both you there in the studio, OC, and you, Dr. Matfield, I wrote a little small book. It was done through the Cultural Foundation. It was 500 was printed. I was told that I had to deliver one to each, send one to each post office in the island, including the BRAC, and they named a list of schools, primary, middle schools that I had to send them to. And I went to the post office and bought the stamps, and I sent them off, and I didn't get one call back from a school or from a library saying that they had received that book. 500 that I printed. And that is telling you all about the Georgetown area and the West Bay Road area, where at that time when I was growing up, they didn't have no 7 Mile Beach. You all can remember, especially you, Doctor, that when we used to picnic time, you had to go down there. We used to call it the weeping willow trees. We used to go down underneath there to wait to have picnics.
Mm-hmm. There was one. There was a set of 2 or 3 to the north, and then there was a single one to the south, going towards the governor's residence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we would go down in the morning, and they would hide eggs for Easter in the sand and all that sort of stuff. Cayman got a lot of good history, and they're not using it in the schools because they're bringing other foreign teachers here on the island, and they're not teaching.
But we can't blame the teachers. It's the curriculum.
Can't blame the teachers.
It's the curriculum.
It's the people who run the country. The teachers can't handle. The teachers can't come here unless they get a ticket from somebody here to come, and the teachers can't. And they're not going to work here unless they get paid. So it's not the teachers. It's the people who control the teachers and who hire the teachers, my friend.
Yeah, that's really true. But the part what I'm saying, Caymanian, they got a couple of Caymanian people that wrote books. I know Mr. Roy Borden and other ones, but they're not recognized because I took my book to certain places that sell, and they said they didn't accept local books.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't accept local books. What a shame, eh?
Yeah.
But in your own country, it's bad.
Well, sir, there's what should I say? But anyway, what you should do in that respect, don't sit home and say they don't accept books. Get out in the streets and sell them. Mm-hmm. Get on the sidewalk and hawk them. Get on the streets and sell them. Do what other people do in other countries. Yep. You don't sit at home and cry and say that they don't take books. The books can be sold, and there are a lot of people on the sidewalks. Get out in the sidewalk and put your books on the sidewalks and sell them.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who will certainly support you these days. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We've gone past our commercial break. When we return, several WhatsApp messages, several emails as well, and I believe, do we have any callers on hold, Ms. Susan? 2 callers on hold as well, so we're going to accommodate everyone. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Dr. Steve McFeel in the studio with me. Share a few WhatsApp emails with you. This one says, Miss Hilda Seymour was also a good seamstress. She was the wife of the late Mr. Ephraim Seymour. Also, another writer has said Lily Eva Eden Hurlston was a well-known seamstress during the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. She made dresses and suits for individuals all over the island. For example, wedding dresses for the early commissioners' wives, and the graduation gowns for Triple C School's first graduation. Wow. She was also well known for her cooking skills and the recipes. The writer says that she was her grandmother and the mother of Georgette, of Miss Georgette E. Banks. So that would be Miss Georgette's mother, Lily Viva Eden Hurlston, as well. Let's grab a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, O.C. First of all, I would like to thank you and Dr. Maxey for coming onto this show, this morning. But I want to confirm also that what Mr. Charlie Watler mentioned about cable wireless hiring people. I also got involved in that dig too. So they used to take two guys from Cayman and some of the other islands in the Caribbean because they had needed, when they get all these lines through the island, they needed guys to do the installation part of it. So I had two trips over there in St. Lucia, it was. And the first one, I came second in the first class of, I think it was 18 guys from throughout the Caribbean, you know. I came second on the first class of training course I went on, and I came first on the second class.
Okay.
You understand?
Great.
So I tell you, it was very interesting, and, you know, I wonder why. I mean, I know all the internet and all of that is good. It's very good. We have advanced quite a bit with that. But I think it makes a lot of difference when you have, you know, people physically in the room that, you know, it's not only about what you put on paper, but you can also check people's sort of attitude. Because remember now, you're going into people's places, offices, and if something happened with the equipment or phones or telex or holodecks or whatever, you have to be very well trained, not just in what you're going to do, but how you go inside of these places, you know? And I think that's what came on right now. It's all a lacking. But even if they have to send someone, you know, it doesn't seem... It's hard for you to really figure out who is coming to do things in your office or whatever.
Okay,
which, you know? And I tell you, Jose, something like this you need to do more often, because I'm sure it's a lot of history out there that people, well, this is the first time that I can recall you have anything sort of like on this program.
Well, I share these articles all the time. Sometimes they generate conversation, other times they don't. This one, actually, we hadn't planned on really discussing this, but we started out giving some historical notes and stuff like that about South Africa, the elections there, and then I started to share some articles from the Trade Winds newspaper, and this one hit the spot, the sweet spot this morning. So,
I get to hear from people that I haven't heard from a long time on the radio.
Yes, yeah.
I guess the same thing, you know, they get to hear from me too. It's very good, man.
Thank you. We'll continue. We will continue with it. Okay,
right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good.
Ms. Susan, we're going to grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, Miss Elise Bush that used to live on Mary Street, Vashta Bush's mother. She was married to Mr. Berkeley Bush's brother. She
Okay.
was a very good seamstress too. And my grandmother, Hedda, people used to call her Hedda Rail, Captain Rail.
Yes.
Yes.
And her sister, Aunt Isabel, who moved to New York, her Aunt Anna and Aunt Isabel, they were three excellent seamstress cooks. And not only cook, they could bake too. Nothing they could bake, couldn't bake, and couldn't cook. As I tell you, when she make them yam cakes and baked beef, and with breadfruit and get that Cayman milk, boil that and get that cream on it. You don't want nothing in the world fill you up good like that for a whole week. you go to the restaurant now, you buy food, don't fill you up for 1 hour.
Yeah, yes.
Well, caller, I didn't know your other aunt, but I know you were Miss Head Rail. I used to deliver milk for Tommy Borden's grandfather, and I used to be there at their house every morning, delivering my milk.
Yeah,
And Miss Head Rail, I would say, was one of the first female entrepreneurs buying and selling, because they would say the black community, you want to be with Head Rail or what? Because every trip she was in Tampa. Buying stuff, but Miami buying and selling stuff, and that goes to show how organized we were in those days and how independent we were. We didn't depend on other people doing things for us.
Yes, and let me tell you, when Easter came, everybody had on a white dress.
Yes.
Had a white handbag and a white hat, and that's what I had to think about the last several years in Easter. Nobody wears white anymore.
Yes,
I
do.
People lost a lot of respect for the Lord in church in different places.
I do. I still wear my whites.
Yeah, well, that's good.
And caller, I was thinking.
White shoes too?
Pardon me?
Oh yes, he wears.
Oh, definitely. Oh yes.
Caller, I was recalling the other day because I used to attend the Chapel Church of God.
Me too.
And at Mr. Oramarin's yard, that is where you used to have the Easter the Easter egg hunts on during Easter time as well. I used to look forward to that.
I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
You remember Mr. Hadley? Dr. Hadley?
Hadley Conley from Southern?
Yeah, he used to be the Sunday school teacher in the Chapel Church of God too. And
I think so he was a preacher.
He was a preacher. He was a lay preacher too.
And he was a dentist as well, right?
Yes, that's
he might
right.
have been a qualified one, but I guess he did what he could.
Oh yes, he would draw that tooth from you.
There's a trade-in story about Mr. Hadley Conley as well.
Yes.
Caller, I want to thank you. Thank you very much again for stimulating more interest and adding more information.
Thank you all for bringing this up today too, because it's been very interesting.
Thank you very much. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, are you talking to me?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Oh, great. This is Dr. Barnett, Curtis Barnett here.
How are you doing? How are you doing, sir?
Oh, doing very well. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see my book or hear it or read it, Caymanian Epic.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't read it.
Oh, but you heard me read a little bit from it at the Seamen's Association.
Yes.
And it is now available at the Seamen's Association office.
Okay.
But anyhow...
so why is it relegated to the Seamen's Association office?
it's also in the major bookstores throughout the island, you know?
Okay.
Right. But one of the people I mentioned in that same epic that I read, and there are 4 epics in there, her name was Therian. They used to call her Antherian. And she was the go-to lady for the seaman's clothes. You could almost call them uniforms, you know? Khaki and chambray and all those kinds of
that word, I haven't heard it for a long time, chambray.
Okay.
And you know that word I haven't heard, crocus.
That's used in Caymanian epic too, by the way. In that same little epic, of course, that is entitled The Young Cook. And it actually is. It's all based on Caymanian history. In fact, although I do a little embellishing in there as well. You know? But it's based on someone who became a cook at a tender age, as a boy, really, and went on to make that his life's occupation. And if you read closely and know some personalities, you might even recognize some of the people in there and the very person on whose life it is based, actually. But anyhow, he makes that his life, and he goes off, you know, to the various companies that employ Caymanian seamen, in addition to national bulk carriers and so on, whatever else he sailed on. I mean, he worked as a cook, you know. And but anyhow, I also wanted to mention that just recently I talked to a lady who became 100 years old. I think it was last month, March, Mrs. Viola Brown. Are you with me?
Yes.
No, yes.
Yeah, she is she told me more than once, I'm a seamstress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was mentioned this morning as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so she was proud of that.
Yes.
Got a lot of work, evidently.
Yeah. Okay.
And I remember as a boy, my mother used to engage Miss Dozie Ebanks, the wife of Mr. Varian, who is still living. She passed away numbers of years ago, but that he is Pastor Alston's uncle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Paternal uncle, Varian.
It's Varian, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's experienced team, and that was his wife. She was engaged. She did a lot of that seamstress work. Yep. And my mother did a little bit as well. She had her pedal-operated Singer sewing machine. And I learned one or two little things there myself. How to, of course, sew on buttons, no big deal. And how to fix maybe a pants cuff and that type of thing. I mean, the last time I did that was, 2 weeks ago.
They can do all that too.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right, so, and more recently, though, someone who occupies a complete page in our history book, he has founded it upon these, Miss Anastine Bodden. She was also, I know she made my children's uniform for school, and she regularly did that. And there were numbers of others, of course.
Yeah, we have a lot more here that we're going to share. Some that you've called already, and others as well. We want to thank you very much, caller, for that. We're going to go to our last commercial break. Miss Susan, how many callers do we have on hold? 2 callers. We're going to make those the last 2 callers because I have several WhatsApp messages that I need to share as well. These persons have taken the time to share this information with us, so I don't want to leave it untouched as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 2 callers. We will take those callers, but this WhatsApp message came in quite a while. It says, good morning, OC. Other seamstresses from West Bay were Dozie Ebanks. She made the uniform clothes for all the children of Bosun Bay. Another seamstress was the writer's mother, Laris Ebanks. She was a good seamstress and made a lot of clothes for people, but she made and repaired the boat sales for the seamen, those were tremendously big to deal with. She was also one of the thatch basket hat school bag specialists also. And the writer goes on to say there was another lady that was a good seamstress. I think her name was Adele, Mrs. Olney Parchment, I heard, was a great seamstress in West Bay. Her grandmother, who you know, Rox, is also a good seamstress. Writer goes on to say that their mother, Laris, was also a specialist in making Cayman heavy cakes as well. So we have two callers. We're going to ask the callers to try to please be as brief as possible, but we want you to be able to express what you want to convey to us as well. So let's grab the first caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. It was the brief, yes, necessary. I just wanted to remind you of two names that you were fighting for. One was Miss Jenna Woods, who was Miss Annis, Mr. Earlwood's mother. And the other person, I think, was Miss Bailey, that Charlie was trying to remember. Bailey from Triple C.
Okay.
I just wanted to say to you that this morning I did an extraordinary thing. A lady called me and was telling me something. So what I did, I used my technological skills and turned her into you. Used my phone, and then that was Miss Pam, who was trying to tell you, because this is a good idea. What we should do sometimes is get the source of the story, in the sense that use some of the calling some of the older persons, maybe you could do that, to get their story, because their stories are very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the program. But I want to remind you of Children of Shetton Road, which I started. I'm still writing, and was on the program with you. All my writings, I try to remember the history of Cayman, because people come here and for some reasons our history just fades away. So I'm glad that you are doing this. I would suggest, though, that if you could take an evening time or a weekend and give it some more thought and bring on Dr. Macfield, who could, and yourself, who could quiz these people in some sort of way that we could hear their stories. And not to forget that Mr. Norman Borden just wrote a book against odds. Yes. I sent you a WhatsApp on that. I tried to get you, but it was very difficult. But your program is exciting. I really like it because it's up my street as well. I don't want to call in because I don't want to dampen people's expression, because I have ways of writing. I can write in Facebook. I write to write, so I can express myself. But some people want to use the radio, and this is a good way.
Thank you.
Oral history is just as important as a written history. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, Dr. Steve, I'd like to refresh your memory on what Isabel was, and then you'll probably remember. You know that beautiful Cayman style house with the porch on it on the old Prospect Road just before you get to the Prospect Cemetery?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that was her house. That was on Mary Street, close by where the old Seventh-day Adventist church used to be.
On 4th Street.
Across from there.
On 4th Street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4th Street.
And there Uncle Bill and those lived.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was that house. It was taken down piece by piece and moved there.
Yeah.
And you know, when I was growing up,
it has a big porch, and it had
big porch. Yes, Captain. I think that the family got lost in the Hustler.
Yeah, Uncle Laurie.
Captain Laurie.
I don't remember if they were torpedoed or whether they got.
No, they got lost in a storm in a Hustler in a ship called the schooner Hustler.
Hustler, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and he had a son, a young boy that didn't get drowned, and I remember he named Clive.
Yeah,
Clive Borden, and he He used to make these.
Got married to Mila Andrews' sister.
Yeah, he used to make these huge. He used to make these huge kites, and he made a huge kite, and he launched it in the town hall yard. That was the Prince Royal Park.
Oh yeah.
Red Alele, it was him just now, and he had this big rope on it, and he gave it to us to hold on, and the kite was dragging us all over the place. So those are the great days. Those are the best years of our lives, and we didn't even know it then that they would have been the best years of our lives.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Another thing I'd like to say is about this book that you suggested that this gentleman could sell on the roadside.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling me he has to get a business license. Let me tell you, a Cayman lady brought some nice big green pears, Cayman pears, to me, and I tell you, they were the best pears I eat in years. And I said to her, well, why don't you take these to Foster's and sell them there? I'll pay you for it. She said, no, I give them to you. She said I took them to Foster's, but they said they can't take them because you have to have a business license. I mean, that's so ridiculous.
Yes.
And then they were importing all of these pears from Dominica and airtime, bring them home, cut them, they're rotten.
Yes.
Paying a high price for them and can't eat them. I don't understand, because years ago, pears didn't spoil. But everyone you buy now, almost, you cut them and they're brown.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you can't eat them.
Do you remember when your dad owned the press and shop?
I certainly do, yeah.
On the waterfront.
Yeah, that's
right in the harbor.
Yeah.
And in a storm, that piece of rock broke off with the press and
shop. The one that was on Iron Shore.
Yeah, the one on Iron Shore. You remember that one?
I really don't remember. That one I was on 4 years old when my father died.
All right.
But I heard about it.
Caller, thank.
Why you want to tell me about that?
Well, it got lost in a storm. The piece of Iron Shore broke off right across from the Yankee Ocean Shoppy. Right on the Iron Shore where the landing for the cruise ships are now.
Okay. All right. We want to thank that caller. Thank you for passing that information on to her. We don't want to leave the BRAC out of this, as well. So we have some seamstresses, from the BRAC. We had someone by the name of Frida. Then we had Miss Vinna Scott, Cora Brown, Big Nan. Dean was also a seamstress. Mrs. Fred McLean was a seamstress. Miss Brianna Walton and Grace Scott, they were all seamstresses as well. May Dilbert also. And they keep coming in, so I have to keep Clarice Ebanks as well, we're told. So, Doc, this really generated a lot of interest, and I'm serious. I wasn't trying to be facetious in any way. That I hope and I trust that someone from the Ministry of Culture was listening in. If not, someone should tell them, go back and view the YouTube, and let's get something going. We need our people, our Caymanian people, to know that they are important. They were important when it was necessary, when it was only us here, and it continues to be important because this is what our history is. What we have to, the only thing that we have to hold on to these days. We're not going to have any logwood trees to hold on to. We're not going to have
trees to hold on to.
Right, we're not going to have any of the mangrove trees to hold on to. The only thing that we're going to have to hold on to is our memories and our history, because we're losing everything else. So I hope and I trust that someone from the ministry listening to this, and let's big up our Caymanian people. We have to big them up.
Because the cocoa plum trees are gone. We can't hold on to them. Yeah. And it seems to me, Mr. For the record, really, I mean, this is just my opinion. It seems to me now that the size of the condominium and the cost of it, the more expensive it is, and the cell phone and the motor car, it's what we worship these days. We do not. We have forsaken and abandoned our culture these days. And I would like to say, I always say that Mandela say anybody who changes his principles depending on depending on who he is dealing with, is not fit to lead. And and that was what Mandela said. And I wrote this down just a bit to say a closing. Said Caymanans have adopted a bi-directional system that creates a paradoxical relationship. And I will go on to say, when a people have negative impressions of themselves, they will not be able to compete in a positive arena. And that is where we are today.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share this very quickly. This one was coming from a cable and wireless employee, but before that they also talk about Aunt Beverly Coca-Cola, who was a seamstress, sewed their son's dresses in her day, rest in peace. Then they talk about Philip Hislop, Dal Keith, and Clarence Bothwell. Stamo Ebanks, who's the writer's brother, and others, talking about cable and wireless, worked cable and wireless. Lara Cayasso, the speaker as well, and says, yes, St. Lucia, I got to meet one of them after 48 years in New Brunswick, Canada. In 2019, he and his brother used to correspond. Person says that their grandfather, Charlie Orrit Ebanks, was one of the best cook. That's why his family has a lot of cooks that do cooking, including the writer. And they go on to say that their aunt Marlena Ebanks also too was a good seamstress as well. So, folks, you know, we feel honored, and it's a pleasure to share your story, Mike, to share your stories, you know, with you, or to share the stories that you have created, you know, with the listening audience as well. I am going way over time, so I'm not going to have my closing comments. I will just say to you, continue to support Radio Cayman, your radio station. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks, 12:15 for Talk Today. I want to thank Dr. Steve McFeel for being here as well. It seems as whenever I have him in the studio, that's when the calls come in as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And giversplanet.com. Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.